Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shroomy and I'm a mixed media artist. Today I'll be making an anime inspired artwork. I'm currently on the journey to learning how to paint and make anime style art. So here I'm sketching the piece that I'm going to be working on today. I'm sketching this on a smooth textured watercolor paper. I am in experimentation stage with my materials and my papers and things like that, so I'm seeing what works best for me, and I can tell you that I am not a big fan of this paper at all. This is the not Winsor and Newton, this is the Daler Rowney smooth watercolor paper, and I am not the best fan of this paper at all. I've decided that I hate it. But nevertheless, this cutie did turn out pretty cool in the end. I really struggled making her come together. It was very difficult for me. But yeah, I gave her a sketch and then I rubbed out the top layer of graphite and relined it with the pencil again, just so that I've got more clear markings. And yeah, I love the final sketch that it came out to be. This one actually took me a very long time to finish. It took maybe 3 weeks altogether, in between work and in between streaming and things like that. It took me a very long time to get her done. There's so many instances in this video that I see. I really screaming at the screen, please stop there, stop overdoing it, you're doing too much. And I think that's the beauty of watercolor, that you really don't need to overwork it. And I wish I could go back in time and change the things that I did, but like I said, I'm still learning and trying to figure out how to use watercolor. In my previous videos, I've talked about how, I don't know much about watercolor itself, so it's a journey in itself, so as of now, again, mentioning it again, I've made quite a few pieces with watercolor and I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to finally get it and trying to figure out the best ways that it works for me. And after watching countless of tutorials of the greatest of the greats using watercolor to paint, and I'm starting to finally understand. So at this stage you can see I've already started to overwork all the work that I put into the hair, and I wish I stayed at this stage. It looks so pretty. Why am I still going over the top? But yeah, it's a shame, really. But I wanted to create this sort of blue hair with brown highlights, I guess. And yeah, I just kept building on the layers, and now the hair is so dark. What am I doing? But yeah, it's great to see how far I've already come within these past few months of me building my skills in watercolor painting. But to touch on what paint I'm using, so I'm actually using a combination of some of my really old paints that I've had for a very long time, and also using the Cotman Winsor and Newton range, the tubed ones. They are one of the beginner sets, I believe, but they are really nice. And at this stage you can see I'm actually using my little pink palette, which is probably the first day when I got my Holbein watercolors, and this is me going in with those, also experimenting with them for probably one of the first times of me using these. I've already gotten used to them by now, but yeah, so it's interesting to see all these different watercolor paints layered on top of each other, and yeah, the way that they're combining with each other. I was actually on stream a couple of days ago as I'm recording my voiceover for this, and I was painting a fox on this same paper, and I've come to a conclusion of why I hate this paper so much. It's because, I don't know if you can tell in the camera of me filming these clips, but even if you look at the ear, like it kind of like bubbles up. I think the first couple of layers of you applying the watercolor paint on the paper, it's fine, but if you keep building on top, like it starts to bubble. I don't know how to explain this, but it's just really annoying. But yeah, so I'm not the biggest fan. But yeah, in my future videos you'll see which papers I prefer. But yeah, again, there's not really any method to this. I sketched this sketch of this like cat girl, and I'm just trying to make it up as I go. At this stage I've been watching countless of videos of how to paint with watercolor, kind of like taking in all the tips at once, but like kind of like doing my own thing. I've mentioned before how I really enjoy painting with like thick paint like gouache and oil paint. I'm not the biggest like user of acrylic paint, but I love the thick paint so you can like fully build on the layers. But that's kind of like what I've been trying to figure out with these watercolors. So watercolor is its own devil, like completely different to anything that I've ever used. So trying to peel back on not applying that many layers has been very difficult, and as you can see, I'm still doing it in this piece. Like I'm just layering and layering. There doesn't need to be that many layers, but it's all a learning curve, so I'm glad that I've learned by now. And yeah, you'll see in my future pieces of how much more simple applying my techniques, and I think that really did help me figure out how to use watercolor. Yeah, here I'm actually applying a lot thicker paint on top. I think I'm applying a little bit of gouache on the face, trying to cover up all the mistakes that I thought I made. But as you can see, it's actually starting to come together. I've done a lot. I think I made it very dark, but I do enjoy the final result. I was really struggling with the clothes because I didn't know what direction to go in. I didn't know how to get it to look like I wanted to in my head. But I think that's what we should all struggle with. Sometimes putting our ideas onto paper is so difficult. And like I mentioned, this took me so many different days. Like you can see this clip, I'm wearing my dressing gown. I'm just really trying to get this thing finished. And yeah, I wanted to see what she can be in the end. I didn't want to abandon it because I actually really enjoyed the starting and the actual sketch. And this was one of the best at the time, like sketches of like an anime inspired girl, and I was really happy with the sketch. But as you can see with the painting itself, I'm so indecisive of what I wanted, and yeah, I didn't know what direction to go in, but I do enjoy the whole process. Here I'm using some of the Artix markers to kind of like straighten out the stars because they kind of started to blend in with the background. Also, I forgot to mention that pink in the background is a Winsor & Newton watercolor paint that I bought individually. a little tube, and it's so beautiful. It's like this neon pink. I believe the name of it is like Opera Rose or something along the lines, if you're wondering. And it's just beautiful, and I love these bright pink colors in my work. I think the bright pink is so nice to mix with other pigments as well. It just like kind of brings out so much like warmth and like brightness in the paint itself. I'm also outlining some of the areas with these white jelly rolls, and also of course adding the little white dots with some Posca pens. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of a struggle because the paint underneath is kind of picking up in the Posca, but I did get there eventually. But yeah, this is pretty much the end to my ramble and my painting. I did cut a lot of clips out just because there was such a huge abundance of the videos. I believe there was about 3 or 4 hours worth of clips that I recorded for this, so cutting them down to around 16 minutes was a very big challenge. I tried to keep it as much to make sense as I could, but yeah, I did speed up some of the process so that you can see the evolution of the face, because I think that was quite important for what I was trying to do anyway. But yeah, bringing in a little bit of like mixed media into these pieces I think is also quite magical. I'm always trying to find the best way to make my work look the way that I imagine it to. Sometimes it's quite hard, so I'm proud that I didn't give up with this piece. I think persevering with it was a good decision, because I really do enjoy the way that it turned out, and it taught me a lot in between all the layers and everything else. And just watching the clip back has given me so much like not advice, but like so much insight of what I could do better for my future works. And yeah, it's a good way of looking back at how to improve and just seeing what I could have done better. And yeah, bringing in these Poscas to bring out all the shiny effects and having all of these things is just so nice. But yeah, here's me struggling with the tape. So again, this is another thing with these loose bits of paper. I do really struggle because obviously I got to tape them down. In my newer paintings that I've been making, I've been using a watercolor pad where you got all the paper like sealed on the sides, so you don't have to tape it, and it's been brilliant. And I'm so glad that I've discovered this magic. But yeah, this is pretty much the end, and I just wanted to thank you for watching if you've carried on this far. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed. I'm definitely gonna be back with another video soon. It's already in the works, and yeah, just leave me any advice or any direction that I should go in. If you have any advice with watercolor or anything along those lines, I'd be very, very happy to receive any words of encouragement. And yeah, no piece is finished without the dust and without the extra bits of busyness with the white dots and everything else. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one. Thank you and goodbye.